Enjoy, have a good day. Thank you.
It's unlike a car where you can just sort of pull over, refocus yourself, take some deep breaths and drive again. Flying, you have to fly. There's no out till you land on the ground safely. You have to fly the balloon.
a.m. The high this morning is sitting off to the north. There's some rain to the south of us with that tropical storm coming through the Carolinas, and it's slowly pushing our way. The inversions are going to be fairly calm winds on the surface this morning, higher winds up in the low-level jet.
Off in the balloon and you're at the mercy of the wind. You can only control your ascents and descents. We don't know where we're going to land. You're flying after a certain amount of time. You're looking down going, that field looks good. I'm going to land there.
I mean, we still have pilots here this weekend that participate in that. And we also have pilots that still fly, have been flying for over 40 years at this event. We're the 50th annual this year, which is a pretty big deal. So we had a balloonist from John Marsden from Vermont and a local man named Walt Grishkot kind of combined, ran into each other, and Walt saw his pictures from another festival, and it just kind of blew up from there. We started at SUNY Adirondack. A few years after that, got a little bit too big for there, and moved into the airport here. An event like this just doesn't happen. We're the third biggest in the United States right now.
This is my pre-flight previously, it's good to know. And as we're flying, I'll again say, when we land, hold on to two spaces, bend your knees a little. And then as we're approaching to land, I'll be a little busier, so I'll just say, hold on, bend your knees.
I've always been very interested in aviation, and ballooning just happened to be a way I could get into flying.
Right now we're cold inflating the envelope so they can put the parachute in up at the top, and then when we're ready to stand up, we'll put the heat to it by the burner, and then as soon as we can do that, we'll be ready to lift off.
How I would describe flying in a hot air balloon is sailing in 3 dimensions. So essentially, it's like, on the water, you're using the wind to propel yourself, only in a balloon, we have that added height dimension to sailing.
Can you hear me?
There's nothing anywhere near you.
Nothing anywhere near you.
Awesome, thank you.
So
We're at the mercy of the winds. All I can do is adjust my altitude. I can ascend or descend. And at different altitudes, the wind levels are slightly different.
Think about it this way: if you land on site, we get to have the hard cider.
It was just on his own. All of a sudden, one day, he was just like, I'm ready. I didn't force him into it, or, I just let him on his own decide when he was ready to go, which is the best thing for kids because they're small. I can barely see over the basket. They're up in the air. It's a lot to be scared at. Letting them decide that it's time is really good because you don't want it to be a negative experience. And he's a really good pilot. He's flown with a couple of my pilot friends, including my instructor, who said he's a really good pilot. So he's getting a lot of, pats on the back for how well he's doing. But as a dad, sometimes it's a little nervous to send your son up by himself. The hardest thing to teach with ballooning is that you need to let your students make mistakes so they can learn from them, but you can't let the mistake be in such a way that it's going to endanger anybody's life. So it's that balancing act, they're doing something, you're hoping that they catch it and correct it, which is fine, that's part of learning, before you have to step in and take over. 9.5 years ago, my dad passed away. And with what was left over from the estate, I was able to purchase the balloon. That's why it's called Heaven Sent. It's from my dad from heaven. The other balloon we have here that my son has, my sister passed away 2 years ago, and he was able to get the balloon from what was left over from her. So I know both my sister and my dad are watching us fly. The winds have welcomed us with softness. The sun has blessed us with its warm hands. We have flown so high and so well that God has joined us in our laughter and set us gently back down into the loving arms of Mother Earth. Hear, hear.
Here, here.
Here.